Streets of New Capenna spoiler season has started and we are in full swing. I love spoiler season. Excitement is in the air, new ideas are flowing, and everyone is having a great time. Except for that group of Magic players who love to complain, but those people are only happy when they're complaining about something, so I guess they're happy as well? Whatever, this isn't a psychology channel, this is a commander channel. So let's build a new commander deck. Now, for this new set, the first new commander that caught my eye was Raffine Scheming Seer. The reason she caught my eye was because she's a go-wide commander in Esper. There are several go-wide commanders in other color combinations, and we've even had an Esper zombie commander in Verena Lich Queen. But Raffine wants us to attack with several creatures and doesn't care about the type. The more creatures we attack with, the more cards we can draw. Sure, we have to discard just as many, but there are workarounds for that. So what do we want our deck to do, and what's our budget? We want to have a ton of creatures, and we want to get as many of them out there as possible. So my first thought was to go with a token-based deck. I tried to keep it under budget, but with the overcosted pre-order prices for Streets of New Capenna cards, that wasn't really feasible. And I ended up with a deck that I wasn't a huge fan of. I was trying to throw down a ton of creatures and eventually either win by beating down my opponents with tokens, or drawing my entire deck and winning with either Jace or Labman. But the deck wasn't fun, wasn't consistent, and wasn't powerful. So I sat down with a buddy of mine and we discussed our options. He pointed out to me that going Esper Spellslinger with cards like Talrand and Monastery Mentor would be perfect for Raffine. So that's the route I decided to go. I built the deck, and I'm much happier with it. Now, because this wasn't a budget build, I felt I could add more powerful cards. However, I did keep every card under a $50 value, and the deck caps out at $70. That may be beyond the price point for a lot of other players, so I've included a link to the more budget-friendly list as well. It's the same deck in principle, but this non-budget list is much more powerful, consistent, and fun to play. So now that we know what we're doing, we can start looking at our deck list. But before we get started, we should keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Let's take a closer look at Raffine Scheming Seer. She's a 3-mana legendary 1/4 Sphinx Demon with flying and ward 1. She also has, whenever you attack, target attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. For those who don't know, connive is a new mechanic from Capenna. Basically, you draw cards and then discard them, and for every non-land card you discard, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Raffine lets us pump any creature, and we draw cards equal to the total number of attacking creatures. So what creatures did I pick to swing out? I'm glad you asked. To start, we've got Talrand Sky Summoner, Sedgemoor Witch, Murmuring Mystic, and Monastery Mentor. All of these cards create tokens whenever we cast an instant or sorcery. Additionally, we're running Thalassay Reverent Medium and Anointed Procession to double up our token production, as well as Scarab God to make some bigger, scarier tokens, and to act as our first piece of graveyard hate. Last but not least, we have a Bone Miser, who may be the strongest creature in our deck, but only once we have a good-sized army and are conniving for a ton. Laboratory Maniac and Jace Wielder of Mysteries round out our core package, and both serve as our win cons in this deck. Basically, with this deck, you get a couple of token generators on board, dig through your library, and then win with either a Labman or Jace. Pretty straightforward. But what spells do we have that are there to trigger all of our token generators? To assist with our Spellslinger theme, we have Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, Culling the Weak, Ponder, Brainstorm, Thought Scour, Mission Briefing, Narset's Reversal, Swarm Intelligence, Twin Cast, and a Dramatic Reversal Isochron Scepter combo to help us generate infinite mana if we need it. We're also tossing in a Halo Fountain for the lulz. This is our Sudden I Win card, but it's not exactly sudden. From now on, if an opponent is in white and has a ton of creatures, be ready with your artifact removal or they could win the game on their turn. Our counter magic package is a little light, consisting only of Dovin's Veto, Negate, and an Offer You Can't Refuse. For spot removal, we've got Vindicate, Fracture, Ravenform, Disenchant, Angelic Ascension, Generous Gift, and Swords to Plowshares. If you want to run more counters and less spot removal, that's up to you. I find that in most games of Commander, you only ever need to cast one counterspell to prevent someone from comboing off or blowing up your board when you're the one with a superior board state. Speaking of protection, we're also running Unbreakable Formation, Teferi's Protection, Swiftfoot Boots, and Ink Shield, my child's least favorite card ever. And for board wipes, we're running Farewell and Cyclonic Rift. Though our commander can draw us a ton of cards, I wanted to add a bit more, mostly because I'm greedy. To start, we have Curiosity Crafter, Coastal Piracy, Bident of Thassa, and Reconnaissance Mission, all of which work very well with the theme of our deck. Wizard class ensures we have no maximum hand size, and also serves as a sudden I win card when we put 30 counters on Raffine, while Archmage of Emeritus and Rhystic Study also generate a ton of card advantage. The new Cut of the Prophets works very well in our deck, but the two most powerful pieces of card advantage we have are Shadow of the Grave and Teferi's Ageless Insight. Shadow of the Grave lets us discard whatever we want and then return the whole pile to our hand, while Teferi's Ageless Insight is just insane. For mana ramp, we have Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, the Talismans, the Guild Signets, and the Diamonds, Chromatic Lantern, Wayfarer's Bauble, and everyone's favorite, Smothering Tithe. For lands, we're running Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Arcane Sanctum, Reliquary Tower, Raffine's Tower, Bajuka Bog is our second piece of graveyard hate. We're also running Fetches, Shocks, Bond Lands, Check Lands, and Slow Lands, as well as 4 Plains, 8 Islands, and 3 Swamps. So let's compare our deck to our checklist and see how we did. 50 mana sources, right on target, but we're at 36 lands and 14 pieces of ramp. 11 pieces of card advantage, counting our commander. 10 pieces of spot removal, only 3 of which are counterspells. 2 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, 1 sudden I win card. All in all, our deck checks all the boxes and is a ton of fun to play. The link for the deck list is in the description below. Obviously, with any new commander, there are a lot of ways to build her. What direction are you taking, Raffine? Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I'm doing a push and trying to post new videos every weekday for the next few months, so look forward to lots of new videos in the near future. Or you can click here for more Commander content. I've also started a Patreon. You can click the link below or go to patreon.com/Danon. Stay safe and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.